Hey, how's it going, everybody? Rusty here. There's been some questions and comments and concerns about vapers tongue floating around Facebook, and I work at a vape shop, and I get people asking me all the time about it. I try to explain it to everybody the best I can, and I actually found a site where somebody from Mount Baker Vapor has pretty much summed it up, and I'll upload or I'll put a link in the description, but I'm going to read it directly off here too. So I am reading directly from someone else's post. It explains it the best way, I think, but I'll give you the rundown of it. Okay. He says, "Let's be frank and talk about vaper's tongue. First and foremost, let me rant for just a moment." Grabs a soapbox and takes a long vape of butterscotch. "We, the vaping community, need to stop referring to this condition as vaper's tongue. The tongue has absolutely nothing to do with this condition. Your tongue has the ability to taste 5 senses: sweet, sour, bitter, salty, and savory. For example, it allows the feel, the sensation that blueberries are sweet, green apples are sour, tobaccos are bitter, bacon is salty, and oregano is savory. But it's the olfactory sensors at the top of your nasal passages that allow you to taste blueberry as blueberry, green apple is green apple, and tobacco is tobacco. Bacon is bacon, oregano is oregano. Thus, when you are not able to taste your e-juice, it is related to your olfactory senses, not your tongue. I propose that we change the terminology to something more appropriate, such as vapor's fatigue." Hops off the soapbox. That's what I call it, vapor's fatigue. It really has nothing to do with your tongue, just like you said. For the remainder of this post, I'll refer to vapor's tongue as vapor's fatigue. If anyone else has a better idea for the terminology, comment below and explain why. Let's get this phenomenon renamed and stop the cycle of misunderstanding. Like I said, I'll put the link in the description, and you guys can do that if you want to. So what is vapor's fatigue? Well, this is when you are no longer able to taste the flavor of the juice you are vaping. This is due to olfactory fatigue, also known as odor fatigue or olfactory adaptation. It is the inability to distinguish or taste a particular odor or flavor after prolonged exposure. Now that we know what vapor's fatigue is, let's talk some reasons why it happens. And I think it was a typo. How you can overcome it and prevent it. It is well among analog smokers that smoking dulls your senses of taste. As you make the switch from analog cigarettes to electronic cigarettes, your ability to taste will improve over time. For some, this takes as little as a week, and others up to 6 weeks. Unfortunately, sometimes with this increased sensation, your olfactory senses will be overloaded and shut down, causing the accursed vapor's fatigue. Do not panic, this is completely normal and simply your olfactory senses' way of recuperating. This may happen several times as your sense of taste returns, and only should last for a few hours, or in some cases a few days. Eventually your body will adjust, and this should no longer keep happening. In this case of vapor's fatigue, just wait it out. If your sensitive taste is not returning after quitting smoking analog cigarettes after 4 to 6 weeks, please see your licensed medical professional. Vaporizing will dehydrate you no matter what. Vapor absorbs any moisture in surrounding air. Your mouth contains a lot of moisture, hence when you vape, the vapor absorbs the moisture in your mouth. If too much moisture is absorbed, it will result in dry mouth condition where a thin film forms on the inside of your mouth, isolating your tongue and olfactory senses. Hence you experience vapor's fatigue. To remedy this cause and or prevent it from happening, simply increase your water intake. Personally, this is a type of vapor's fatigue I used to suffer from the most. I am a heavy diet soda drinker, and at one point was getting dry mouth, then vapor's fatigue after any vape session that lasted more than 5 minutes. I switched to only drinking water and have been vaping and had no problems since. I drink a lot of soda too, so that does make sense. I try to switch up my flavors a couple times a day, really. I try not to stay on the same flavor too much. If you vape the same flavor all day, your olfactory senses can become desensitized to a particular flavor. For example, say your all-day vape was blueberry. You love blueberries as a kid, and Mount Baker Vapor's blueberry is sweet, juicy, and right on par. Insert advertisement here. You become desensitized to the flavor. Fear not, to remedy this case of vapor's fatigue, you can take 2 approaches. Switch to a new flavor or have a flavor rotation. I personally think that having a vaping rotation is the best method. When I first started vaping, all I vaped was cinnamon roll. Eventually, I couldn't taste the flavor anymore. My olfactory senses had adapted. Then I started rotating between 4 flavors, and now I have no problem tasting cinnamon roll. You can also take the approach of just switching flavors. For example, switching from cinnamon to butterscotch. I would recommend changing your flavors up significantly if choosing this method. For example, if you usually vape something like a cinnamon roll, you can't taste the flavor anymore, I would recommend trying to vape one of the other dessert flavors like butterscotch or strawberry shortcake, instead of vaping something similar to cinnamon roll like sticky bun. And I think he's referring to all the flavors they have. So basically, like, if you're vaping a cinnamon, don't go to another cinnamon. You'll still have that vapors fatigue. What I do is I switch between one of my favorites, which is, I believe, pineapple and pear, I think, with brown sugar and rum. It's actually really good. And then when I get tired of that, I switch up to something completely different, like a tobacco or even a cinnamon sometimes or something like that. My 2 main flavors that I use, it's called Drunken Fruit from Smoke It Up Vapors, and then Boba's Bounty, but I'm out of Boba's Bounty. So I just try to switch up to whatever I can so they're not nowhere near the same. Says if you're still having issues with vapors fatigue, well, a trick commonly employed by wine tasters and perfume mixologists is to inhale fresh ground coffee. Don't inhale the grounds, just the aroma. Coffee interacts with a specific chemical in the olfactory sensors that will in turn cause your olfactory sensors to reset. So put down that e-cig, smell some coffee grounds, or have a cup of coffee, not a coffee flavored e-juice. Okay, it's a whole different ball game. Fellow vapors have reported that vaping flavors like mint, menthol, and cinnamon work well as olfactory sensors. You can also keep a bottle of unflavored e-juice to vape when experiencing fatigue. This will help your olfactory sensors time to reboot and won't be wasting flavored e-juice. What I do is when I'm at work, I vape my Drunken Fruit most of the day, and then when I start getting tired of it, I just switch to straight VG, no flavor, no nicotine, and then I break out my fog machine and show it off to customers and just have fun with it for a little while. Maybe an hour or two, and then I'll switch back to my flavor, or I'll switch flavors altogether, and that's what I do. If you have tried all the remedies above and you're still suffering from vapor fatigue, it may not hurt to think about either adding extra flavor shots, hang on a second, or changing your blend. Remember that PG carries the flavor and VG dampens it. Sometimes a small change like adding an extra flavor shot or changing from 50-50 to a 65 PG, 35 VG blend can make quite a difference. So if you increase your PG ratio, you'll get more throat hit and more flavor. It does carry it. If you have a sensitivity to PG, just switch flavors, in your VG profile, okay? Let's see what else he says. If you do have any cures that you have discovered for vapors fatigue, any flavors that are amazing palate cleansers, thought of a better term than vapors fatigue, comment and share below. And you can do that on my channel as well. If you feel like you want to call it something else, you can comment in my comments. And I'll put his link in here. And it's actually at Mountain Baker Vapor. So, I mean, if you go to that website, you can go there too. But, I mean, I see a lot of people talk about it. And then I see some random people getting on there like, well, what I do is I just drink a lot of water, or I do this. I mean, those are all maybe ways of dealing with it. But then there's some people just put comments on there like they think they know what they're talking about. And they're like, oh, well, you need to scrub your tongue and all this other stuff. That has nothing to do with it. Your tongue doesn't do any of that. It's all in the senses at the top of your nasal passages. So, I mean, scrubbing your tongue all day, doing the peroxide rinse and all that stuff, that's a waste of time, and I really don't want to be gurgling peroxide. I mean, it sounds like it probably tastes like crap. But, whatever works for you works for you. That's just best I can do about throwing some information out there for you guys. I hope it helped out. Might get you guys going again, okay? Have a good one, and I'll talk to you all later.